Oh my goodness, you guys. Thank you so much for coming to visit with me today. Today is our grand reopening of the AV Tarot Lives. So I'm super excited to be able to sit here with a slightly lopsided fro. It happens. And to chat and to visit with you and to visit with your guides, your guardians, your ancestors. I have notes. I'll review them in a moment to keep us on track, but I'm really, really thrilled to be back in the swing of things, to get back into understanding your lives and what you guys are doing and how I can help out to make them a little bit better. So let me make sure I have all my notes so that I don't lose a beat, because sometimes that'll happen, darling. I'm totally going to visit with the comments here in just a second so that we can chat and say hi there and hello. I saw that Miss Sandrine is here already. Thank you, darling faces. Please let me know that you can hear me. Please let me know that you can see me. I would hate to be saying all this and it's on deaf ears. Oh my goodness. It says you can't find the page that you were looking for. Totally let me know which link that was, and I will correct that for us on the spot, because unacceptable, darling. We will make sure all of this is correct. All right. Hi, Miss Kiana. It's so good to see your little icon there. Thank you so much for visiting with me. Oh my goodness, Miss Butterflies. And let me remember that, yes, your name is Heather, correct? If I remember these correctly, let me know. Let me know. Oh, I gotta get. You see, if you haven't seen me before, my name is Abby. I'm a stickler for names. I want to know the phonics. I want to know the pronunciation, because to me, knowing someone's name is a sign of respecting them. So if I, for some reason, can't say it correctly, we're gonna agree on a nickname and we're gonna keep it going. So whatever you, hi, sweet pea. It's so good to see you, and I've missed you all too, Miss Michelle. Thank you so much, and you get to see me live, darling face. That's epic. Thank you for letting me know that I can be seen and I can be heard. I appreciate that. Yes. I feel like that's going to be a mark for me. 1 point for an Abby. You tried both and it didn't work. Okay. We will figure out a way to correct that so that it's not an issue. Let me do something real fast for us, sweet peas. Let me see if I can copy my website and have it linked directly there, because there's no reason as to why it shouldn't. Okay. So this is called doing it on the fly, darling. And if you don't know me already, I'm a little over dramatic. Wait, is over dramatic a word? Yes, you can be drama and then a little bit over the top with said drama. So I'm going to say over dramatic. Because I know sometimes there's the conversations about, what? What did you mean by that? Baby Tarot, there's my website. Let me make sure that when I copy a link into here, that you can see it. Oh, Sandrine is correcting me. I love that. Hold on. Let's see. She says, call her Gwen Na Vive V Ave. Oh, geez. Gwen. We'll call you Sweet Pea. Since I didn't get that correct. My goodness. Is it Jen or like Gwen? No, it's Jen. Call you Genevieve. Oh, Jen Nuvi. Oh, Geneva. Is it Geneva? No, it's not Geneva. See? I'm already like foot and face. We'll call you Jen, sweet pea. We'll call you Jen. Jen with a G. I love that. Gen? No, Jen. We're going to call it Jen. At least until you tell me otherwise. That one works? Okay, good to know. We might have to copy those links in one at a time. We'll figure out how to do it, sweet peas. Well, I am super excited to see all of your faces. Please like, please subscribe, please follow. That helps me make sure that I am in touch with you guys as a community, that I've nailed all the P's and Q's, that this is still content that you're interested in, that you like, that you enjoy. And that's why that's why I'm an A. What are you an A? Oh, A, butterfly. There we go. See, that's why you're a butterfly. I understood completely. All right, honey faces. So let me grab my notes so I don't miss a beat. There we go. Okay. All right, so one thing that I like to do, I like to kind of first tell you what you can expect out of today's session, because nothing is more annoying to me than not knowing what the heck we're doing here today. So the game plan, the schedule, what we're kind of playing for is about an hour and a half time together. And what we're going to do during that hour and a half is I am going to read for you guys in the later portion, but the beginning portion, what we're going to do is actually dig into a little bit of shadow work as a community. So first is going to be a quick shadow work tarot reading that I'm going to show an above camera view of that work. And then we're just going to riff and have that reading as it progresses. After that reading is complete, we're going to pick 3 people from this beautiful Sweet Pea audience, and we're going to apply that card to them. We're going to do a reading for them based on one of the cards that's available for us. So for instance, we have triggers, we have something regarding ego, we have problematic behavior, we have wounds. There's lots of other little cards in here that are actually quite impactful and meaningful, and that's the kind of work that I love digging in on. So we're going to apply that to 3 of you Sweet Peas, and then we're going to hit the ground running on those readings. After we've completed those readings, we're then going to chat a little bit about one of the new announcements that we're going to be sharing with everyone, and then we're going to dig into your specific questions. So if it's psychic related, if it's like if you have a mediumship question, we can try to tap in, see if they're on the phone. If you have any other questions that you'd like to share with me, it can be like literally you're looking for an answer, or maybe just process, please feel free to share. I love those questions. What I would suggest is that when you type your question, copy it so that you can paste it when I ask for it again, because I will try to hit everyone's questions so long as time and all the such allows, but I might miss it. So if you can, just go ahead and copy so that when it comes time, you can paste it again, let me know, and I'll grab that one that time. So unless you have some questions outside of what we just mentioned, I think we might be able to go ahead and hit the ground running. I think we may be able to. You've been a subscriber since when? Oh, thank you, darling faces. You don't understand how much that means to me. I do appreciate all that. I appreciate all of you for being here. I love that I can help and serve and participate in your lives. That means a lot to me. I'm really, really grateful for that. Really grateful for that. Oh, thank you. Okay, so if you're ready to start, I'm ready to start. Sandrine, I'm glad you're here. Miss Jen, I'm glad you're here. Let's go ahead and dive in. First thing, while we're getting all set in space, all kind of in the rhythm and the routine, I would love to know from everyone that's here, what is your rising sign? Where are you from? Because that's just a little question that helps me know where you're at, where you come from, what you're doing. Because I know we have Taurus with Miss Sandrine. I know we have a Virgo. I know you can't copy and paste from your phone. Darn it. It's okay, hun bunch. Whatever you need to do, if you need to type it fast, we can do that too. But I know we have some Tauruses. I know we have some Sagittariuses. Someone has a Capricorn rising. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. Is that Gemini? Is that sign Gemini? I think that's Gemini. The funny thing is I love astrology. I love what astrology does for us as a science, but I am like not very adept in astrology. So I got the basics to understand that, hey, this is what it does. This is how it's working. All these kind of things. Past that, oh, honey. It can be a fun. It is Gemini. Okay. Oh, Virgo. Got you. Cool. Well, hun bunches, let's go ahead and start digging in. We will, so that is actually a tiny bit of housekeeping that we need to discuss. There are routinely people who will come in who will try to get your attention and try to spam the chat and spam the thing. I will catch them if at all possible. I will delete them if at all possible. I will also keep an eye on this feed after the fact so that we can keep them, removed so that they don't continue to annoy everyone. But long story short, if there's anybody that reaches out to you saying that they're me, or if there's anyone that's reaching out to you saying that they have a message or a reading for you, let them go, delete them, block them, because any reader worth their salt is not going to initiate contact with you first. It's just not, it's an ethical thing that a lot of us do not do. And I've had my picture taken before and people reached out to say, hey, I can give you a reading for this amount. And they got scammed by my face, which is so heartbreaking that can even happen. And yes, it can still be a mess, but we'll try to do as much housekeeping, as much, weed pulling as possible, Sweet Pea, so that it doesn't bug anyone. So I'm going to show you a thing that I've been trying to do since we started this last year. I'm going to pull in my overhead view from my little friend here. There we go. Almost. There we go. We're going to be using this here in a moment later, but first we're going to start off with that community reading based on a shadow card. So I'm going to get a little scooted into my camera. If I'm a little bit too loud, let me know. Here in a second, we're going to shuffle. If you don't know what these cards are, you love the overhead. Thank you, Sweet Pea. If you don't know what these cards are, this is a Spread Machine Oracle by Kimberly Sand. Oh my gosh, I love this set of cards. You've probably seen it on my page. You've seen me use it a ton of time before, but I love that they give you kind of like little questions, little perspectives. And this is just the shadow work category of this deck. And so that's why I'm going to share it all with you. So let's shuffle. Let's shuffle. So this is going to be a quick community reading for my sweet peas and my loved ones. Oop, hey, ooh, how's this to dig into? So this is what we're going to look at. Oops, let's get it in. How have you been hurt in the past? What is the wound? What is the wound given to you? Let's say what has the wound given to you? What is the wound that you still carry? And what is it that needs to be healed? Talk about a good question, no? All right, so let's do some taroting. And I'm thinking about this as a community, right? I'm thinking about this as all of us. One day we'll get the lighting right. So let's think of this. Got our first card. Let's start with 3, and then we'll keep it going. And please chat. Please tell me how you think. Tell me all the things. I love this engagement. That's part of the fun. That is part of the fun. So what does my community need to know about this wound? How have you been hurt in the past? Ooh, let's not flip that over just yet. Ooh, here we go. I'm getting all tingly on this side of my face. Here we go. Let's start with those 4. So what's the wound? What's the wound? I'm going to sketch a little bit with this too, just so I can kind of go ahead and start hopping that in. But the first card that shows up for us, and it's almost in view. There we go. We have the 9 of Pentacles. Some of you that are invested in tarot, we might understand the 9 of Pentacles as the attention to resources, the attention to the tactile things in life. So sometimes this can literally be resources like money or food, or it's feeling like it's leaning more into the perceived resources. So like attention, love, affections, because the energy of this card is that she's got to have her hand on it at all times to make sure it's not going anywhere, to make sure that little slug, where is that? There we go. That little tiny little snail down here is not going to infest her garden. So she's working on that. And sometimes that wound is a lack of resources in that regard. We also have the Ace of Wands. We have the 5 of Swords. Before we flip this card over, I'm just going to sketch into that a little bit. Ace of Wands. So the Ace of Wands is usually inspiration. It's that spark of knowing. And then that 5 of Swords is that, what would you call it? I would call it like a unfair advantage card. And then focus with that star. Or at least that's how I think of the star card, is like intense hyper focus. Not so much like you can't see anything because you're like a rider's your what do you call a horse with the blinders? Because you have your blinders on. But this is more just like you can't help but focus on the XYZ thing. So to me, when I'm digging into this particular spread and I'm looking at my community, I'm trying to understand what this wound is. My thought is this perception of loss, this idea that the moment, it's like a hyper focus, that moment you see the slightest bit of threat to your thing, whatever it is that you're hyper, attuned to, that you're touching on, that you refuse to leave it, you refuse to let go of at all costs. There's this perception of loss. And the hard part with that is that loss is not exactly real. It's like it's an imagined loss. So if we wrap it up in an example, for instance, if you're in relationships with other people and it can be as mundane as like, you have a friend that talks a little too much to your partner, that jealousy that spawns up. Jealousy is usually a fear of loss. And so that's just kind of, touching on that a tad bit. If you have a new employee at work and they're the boss's favorite, that can bring up that whole feeling, that whole wound about loss. What about this? Is this unfair advantage? If somebody has, an unfair talent to you, where they just seem to be better at the thing than you are, unfair advantage, thus a loss. And it seems like that is what we're looking on, is seeing, reflecting, very cognizant of the way in which we are very, very close to loss. So let's see if there's a solution. Let's see if there is a remedy for this. Oops. Oh, I just like flipped over half the deck, and that's not going to be useful for us. How can we start mending this wound, sweet peas? How can we start? Thank you, Kiana, with the blinders, right? Absolutely. How can we start working on mending that loss or healing that wound, mending that loss? Let's see. Let's do the first three. 1, 2, 3. So first things first, hun bunch, the grass is not always greener. Like, just because of all the things, it's not always greener. There's a shit ton, excuse my French, this love, this connection, this path, right? I'm doing this number. I know you can't quite see it, but I'm doing this merging of paths. Regardless of what the situation is, there is still this, whatever the wound is about, it cannot do its thing without you. So if at all possible, you don't have to worry. You don't have to stress. You don't have to perceive XYZ thing as a loss. Ooh, sorry, I got a whole little nudge there. What does that mean instead? If it's not loss, what is it then? The Temperance card is bringing balance to that, bringing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, seeing the left side, seeing the right side, seeing the other perspective. It is not just the first thing in which you're understanding. Let's see, what else? What else do we need to know about that? Ace of Pentacles, something else that we're not seeing at the moment. Here we go. Perception of loss. There we go. With a tiny bit of patience. This is the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles to me is all about patience. All about patience. And then this hyper focus is showing up again. So to me, we have like two cards about us intensely focusing on that which is causing pain, that which is pissing us off, that which is unfair advantage, that which is, there's so many other words for it. Because I can almost relate that to my own personal experience. Sometimes I feel like because my brain doesn't work like everyone else's, that I am not going to be able to do business, life, work the way other people do. And so it ends up tapping on my wound regarding significance, loss, capability, intelligence. So to me, this is reminding us with a tiny bit of patience, actually a whole lot of patience, but a tiny bit of patience and a little bit of focus, you'll be able to beat back those unnecessary battles, those bickerings, those needless conversations that show up mostly in your mind about how you're not good enough, how you're insignificant, how this isn't going well. And hopefully you'll remember that all of it is make-believe anyway. All of it is make-believe anyway. Anything else that we need to know about that wound? How have you been hurt in the past? How have we been hurt in the past? How have we been hurt in the past? Aw. See, my first thought is that we've been told that one thing is a thing and it's not. You know, have you ever had that before? It's like, for instance, we've been told, like, if you get a college education and you spend all this money in school, you'll be a success, right? We've also been told if you do this thing and you do that thing, you'll feel amazing. We've also been, a million things that we've been told one thing and given another. That to me is what's causing all this wounding, this needless bickering, this stuff. So to me, like, the antidote is still coming back to yourself, coming back to being your own knight in shining armor, darling. Your own, there's a lot of words for him. Oh, your own, I don't know why your own high priestess came up. That came to mind. But basically advocating for yourself to me is the biggest way in which you can start to mend that wound. Now, if you would like to have me kind of dig on this particular shadow card for you, go ahead and put your comment into the comments. Just say me or something like that. And I'm going to grab 3 people overall, and I'll grab as I see fit. So we'll do that. Okay. And that'll get us going on this. Oh my goodness. Aw, that is so sweet. See, I love how you guys are friends. I love that. Michelle, thank you so much. All right, Miss Claire. You were the first one to pop up, so let's start with you. All right, so Miss Claire. Miss Claire is wanting to understand how is this wound, her wound, Actually, let's go further back than that. We're going to look at the wound specifically. Let's start there. What is the wound that you got working on? Ooh, I think I'm going to put tarot down for a quick second. I think I want to go ahead and start sharing with you my other skill set, which is sketching on this guy. All right, so what is the wound? I'm going to back the mic up so that I don't blow out everyone's speakers. Okay. Clear. We might go back and forth. We're looking at your wound. All right, Claire. You get to see my messy handwriting. What do we need to know about Claire? How have you been hurt in the past? See, I feel like part of this really relates to you, Miss Claire. I feel like you've had, you have expectations of others, and of course they have let you down, right? Most of us have. It seems to be a natural side effect of living, you know? So how have you been hurt in the past? How have you been hurt in the past? First thing that's coming up to me is like relationships, connections with other parties, partners, not just partners, but almost like your parents too. I feel like the parents have let you down a bit. So let's see. It definitely doesn't feel like rocket science. It feels like, yeah, this is kind of human existence, right? So it hurts. So how do we? Oh, let's further answer these questions. What has this wound given you? This wound feels like it's giving you this beautiful dose of compassion. I feel like you see flowers where other people see compost. So it's like you have this sweet note to you that not very many around you witness or even appreciate. So poo on them. So what else I got in here, Miss Claire? So yeah, we're just doodling. This is not, it's usually lines and squares. That's all it is. How can we apply that to her? What is the wound that you still carry? I feel like you have a wounded heart. Other people have let you down, and sometimes you let yourself down. And so that breaks my heart for you. How can we start to mend that? See, if you were in session with me, something that we'd start to talk about is your feelings of self-respect towards yourself. And part of me is picking up on the fact that you're starting to do a little bit. You're starting to think about how you think about yourself. And so that's awesome. That is awesome. Go you, hun bunch. But I feel like you're maybe plateauing a ton, or not a ton, a tiny bit is what I meant to say. You're plateauing just a tiny bit. Hold on. Let's get rid of them. And block. There we go. Let's see. What can we do about that wound? What can we do about that wound? Claire, something that I would love for you to do for yourself is make more time to listen to pretty beautiful either music, art, poetry, those kind of things. Something that kind of is a little bit whimsical that speaks to you, because I feel like the act of that is actually going to start knitting some of the pieces of your broken baby heart, knitting some of that together so that you're less triggered by, gosh, people's chaos, people letting you down, unrealistic expectations, all those things, So let's see what else. And please feel free to totally let me know if that lands, if that makes sense, if I'm way left field. Let me know, darling faces. What else do we need to know? What needs to be healed? Something that is coming up for you just briefly is a touch of your ancestral medicine. So I don't know if you've ever had the opportunity to dig into your past lives or dig into your ancestral communications, that kind of thing. But if you ever do get that opportunity to do so, I feel like that would be very therapeutic and medicinal for you moving forward. So just saying, throwing that out there. It might be worth you doing a tiny bit of research so that you can get that done. Miss Claire, I hope that makes sense. And if it doesn't, totally let me know, Sleepy. Alrighty. So if you would love to have this wound card applied to you directly, please just go ahead and throw an into the comments and I'll grab the next person that shows up. And Miss Michelle, after we get done doing this part of the questions, we'll be able to do a general question in the next 30. So I'll totally let you know when that's appropriate, and we'll pull that into. Let's see. Those are all tools that you use as an artist: poetry, dancing, singing. Perfect. Good to hear. Good to hear. My dear sweet pea, there you are. There you are. Wait. We'll get that in just a moment, sweets. There we go. All right. So how do we apply that to you, Miss Jen? How have you been hurt in the past? What has this wound given you? So Jen, what is the wound that you still carry? What is the wound that you still carry? That's the question that's standing out to me for you most. What is the wound that you still carry? What is the wound that needs to be healed? The first impressions that's coming up for you is like inner child work. Particularly, it's like, what is it? It almost feels like attachment style stuff. What else? What's the wound here? And the fun thing when it comes to shadow work is that sometimes this is the stuff that's not directly in front of us. It usually is something that we need to dig into a little bit further to kind of like put and knit together. How have you been? No, we're focusing on this question. What is the wound that you still carry? Tell me something, hun, because something that I'm pulling for you is this, like, trying to put words to it. This feeling of having quit something that you said you were going to do for yourself. It almost feels like, for instance, if you went to school and you made it like 2 quarters and then you had to take some time off and you swore you're going to go back, but you never did. So it has that kind of feel to it. So to me, I feel like the wound that you're contending with is like self-disappointments, the things that you've done to yourself. Let's see. What else is in there? What can we do to start mending that? Yeah, to me, it's like circling back into practicing, like, I have like 4 different thoughts happening at once. My brain's exploding. So what I would try, first thing that's showing up, is trying to instill a small habit of doing exactly what you said you're going to do because you said you're going to do it on the small stuff. Like, say for instance, I said I was going to pick up my room before I went to bed, and then it's bedtime and you're like, oh, my bed, my bedroom, this whole thing. Go ahead and get up and do the thing, right? And it's just to keep that promise to yourself so that you can stop letting you down. What else? Stop letting you down. Because I don't know if you've ever dug into archetypes. There is one in particular that I'm learning a little bit about, which is the orphan or the wounded child. Sorry, I don't spell in this either. It's just fine, vomiting. But yeah, the orphan child or the wounded child archetype. There's a few others that could apply, but just, if you ever get the opportunity to do a little, side research, look into those, because I think that might be useful in regards to kind of how you talk to you, how you treat yourself, how you understand yourself. So let's see, what else can we dig into? I do believe that this wound is giving you a thick skin. So I appreciate that. You're not a hypersensitive, little being, but I do feel like you have this tendency to let yourself down a little more often than probably what you're okay with. And that's unfortunate because you're the closest person in your head. So you definitely hard on yourself. Lots of pressure. Lots of pressure. So no one is saying be harder. So let me be a little clear about that. No one is saying be harder, but I would say allow yourself a tiny bit of compassion, because when you're already hard on yourself, then that has the ability to kind of spiral into, fine, I'm not good enough. I can't do it anyway. I shouldn't have even tried. There's no way that I should have been able to do this. No one wants me to do this anyway. It starts to spiral into this hodge of negative language, negative self talk, and that is never going to be useful for you. So, if at all possible, attend to those unkind words that you have in your head, sweetie, about yourself to yourself. I sometimes talk to clients and they tell me, or for instance, when I'm in a mediumship session and an ancestor comes in and they're chatting with me about their granddaughter, for instance, sometimes grandparents will say something along the lines of like, "Tell her to stop being so rude to my grandbaby," and I find it so cute because she's like fussing at you like you're somebody else, saying, "Don't talk to my grandbaby like that," because you are that grandbaby. So the encouragement is similar. It's like, don't speak to yourself so poorly because you're somebody's loved one in there and they're going to fuss at you otherwise, or tell me about it and then I get to fuss at you. Alrighty, sweet pea. We're going to go ahead and grab one more. I'm just making sure if there's anything else I need to pull on that. Let's see what else is in here. What is needed for that to be healed? What is needed? Yeah, to me, it keeps circling back to keeping promises to yourself. So just, don't. There's lots of ways that we could talk about how to go about that, but primarily, I think the big message is just keep your promises to yourself. Keep them promises. You say you're going to do the thing, do the thing. Make sense? But thank you so much, Sweet Pea, for letting me read for you. I so appreciate that. So we're going to pull one more person. So if you'd love to have this wound card read for you in this whole doodle fashion, because of course I'm running away, or it's running away with me in a way that I enjoy. Go like, say something in the comments. Me, that'll work. We'll do that. Eventually what we'll do is like do an emoji of some sort. Oh, wonderful. Makes sense? Perfect. Glad to hear. Glad to hear. Glad to hear. Okay. Michelle. Yay. All right, sweetheart. I don't know if I've ever read for you before. Okay. Miss Michelle. I'm going to write your name down. Michelle. Have you been hurt in the past? I feel like for you, we need to be more practical for you. Let's see. What can we do here? How have you been hurt in the past? The interesting thing about you, Michelle, the first thing I'm getting for you is your walls. like I almost feel like if you were like, in the center of something, I'm feeling your brick walls, the big boundaries that you have between you and other people. So what has that wound given you? It's given you protection, that's for damn sure. But the hardship with that wound is that it also keeps people out. So no one is able to actually get to know who you really are because you have this big boundary with a lot of distance between you and other people. And usually that just shows up because we've been hurt, we've been injured, especially by people that mean a lot to us, right? Or are very close to us. Boundaries. Yeah. Let's see what else is in there. I feel like, if we look at that question directly, have you been hurt in the past? Similar to a lot of us, the people that are closest to us let us down the most. It's like the rule of mom, or the role, excuse me, is what I meant. The role of our parents, the role of our loved ones, our caretakers. We have this expectation that they treat us and behave in a particular sort of way. And then sometimes we forget they can't, or didn't know that they can't, and they treat us poorly. What else? What is the wound that you still carry than boundaries? So what is needed to heal that? What is needed? What needs to be healed? What needs to be healed is what the card is saying. I keep thinking like what needs to happen so that we can heal those boundaries, those big old boundaries. The thing, boundaries can be a good thing. So let's not get that wrong. However, there is such a thing as rigid boundaries, and having them be impenetrable, having no flexibility. It feels like, oh, you could cut a bitch off. Like that's a thing that you could do. Like, you push me too far, too wrong. I will allow it to go on for too long and then cut you off and kind of never speak to you again, kind of on accident. So I wonder if it's possible to add a little flexibility to those boundaries so that you can continue to let new souls visit with you, new people get to know you, new interests, to step in, if that makes sense. You used to be so open. Understood. Yeah, we all have a soft heart, right? What does she need to know about that? The hardship with that is carrying those boundaries for too long doesn't help us. It helped us in the moment, and you can thank those boundaries because, yeah, it helped you stay safe, it helped you stay secure, but long term it is not useful. It is not useful, and it starts to actually cause you harm instead of protecting you like it used to. So when you have, like, for instance, we were just dealing with, what was that little sketch right here, we're just, I'll get to the point. When you have, super rigid boundaries that you don't let anybody in, how lonely is that? How alone do you tend to feel because of that? How often do you wish you could let somebody get to know, like, the real you, but you're too busy, or they're too busy beating up against your brick walls? So it's just, what was I thinking? Yeah, just allowing opportunity. Because in reality, I trust, at least with you, I trust that even if somebody does hurt you, you're going to know what to do in that situation. You're not going to allow them to continue to hurt you. You're not going to allow them to persistently peck and peck and peck and peck and open up wounds and damage, damage, damage. You're not that person, right? So even if someone does, which happens in life, people will hurt us, you will know what to do. What else? You gave me a little comment there. Oops. There we go. Long term becomes jaded. That happens. But that jadedness, it's like, if you want, what is it? The best things in your life is right outside your comfort zone. So it's like you're gonna have to cross out of that boundary to get those wonderful things in your life. So let's see. What else do we need to know in here? What needs to be healed? I almost feel like for you, rituals would be really useful. And by that, I mean, like, maybe writing yourself a love letter, everything that you want to have said to you, everything you wish people understood about you. Write yourself a love letter, and then maybe either ritualistically burn it, let it go in a body of water, mail it to yourself, all, manner of things. You can do anything under the sun, but doing a little ritual that just kind of has you connecting to yourself, saying nice words to yourself, being super kind, that kind of thing. And then visualizing, like, maybe taking elements of that brick wall down. Might be just one brick, or maybe one side of the brick of the wall, one side of the wall. Figure out how you want to go about that. But doing something practical like that just seems like it could be really, really beneficial for you, moving forward. Oh, that makes sense. Smileys. I'll accept smileys. Oh my goodness. Who is this sweet pea? You're an Aquarius. He's a Taurus. What's going on? Oh, I got you. We'll be answering questions like that here in just a bit, sweet pea. Got you. Coolness. Thank you so much for letting me read for you all, sweet peas. I appreciate that. It's always so much fun kind of digging into these, little intimate topics here. I dig that. I absolutely dig that. Something that I want to do is talk to you briefly about a new service that we're introducing to our community, to, AV Tarot. If you've had the opportunity, and I don't know if you have yet because them damn links were not working a moment ago, we are introducing a new service to the repertoire. There you go. Oh, you're very welcome, Miss Michelle. We're introducing a new service to the repertoire. And by that, what we're doing is we are introducing, one, pre-recorded readings. So that gives you the opportunity to get a session with me that is not on my timetable, but more on yours. And what it is focused on is in regards to relationships. So I don't know if you've seen this onslaught of new dating shows, new dating topics, new relationship XYZ things. And there's still a lot of people not knowing how to do relationships well. So the work that I'm putting together is an ode to that, is a a effort to help other people learn how to do relationships better. So for instance, if you look at the website and you've decided, oh my goodness, out of all the 5 topics that are there, the one that matches your situation is, I'm pulling it up right now so I can talk about it is couples in conflict, right? So say for instance, you have a partner, you guys are in conflict and you can't quite get it together, or it's the same conflict over and over again. What that particular reading will do will talk to you more about the primary archetype that's in play between the two of you, what needs in that relationship are not being met, which is what is causing that conflict. What is it that you're both doing well in that particular situation? And then what is it that you both could improve on? So it's like, how could you both go to your separate corners, recoup, and come back to this to actually do some resolution finding. I'll help everyone understand like the energy of the conflict and what actions could possibly lead to a resolution. And also ultimately how can you move forward with the lessons that are provided? Because ultimately we want to fix the conflict, but there's no promising that we can do that, but I definitely want to hold your hand and walk you through that. The cool thing with all of these readings though is that part of the process is me actually scheduling a free 30-minute follow-up session with you so that you can talk about your reading after you've viewed the private link. You can download the information with me, we can unpack it together, we can digest it together, and ultimately have you leaving with some tools, some methods, some processes as you're going on your journey. So this is different than my other services because it starts out with a pre-recorded video reading based on the questions that you provide. And then it wraps up with a free 30-minute just face-to-face Zoom session where we can chat, we can unpack the session, we can dig into it a little bit deeper, and maybe even start you on like a plan or a process where I can be a little bit of like your accountability buddy and help you get certain actions and behaviors done, if that makes sense. So yeah, I dropped the link to it directly into the comments. There we go. I do believe it linked up. There we go. It's in the comments. You should be able to click on it and view it at your earliest convenience. And for this month, we're reducing the price of those sessions for the next 30 days. After that timeline, we're reevaluating the pricing structure. So we might raise it depending on, how well it's doing. So please feel free to take advantage of that at your earliest convenience. Hey, she's like, that one works. Good. I'm glad to see that linked work. I'm glad for that. Alrighty, my dear sweet peas. I just want to make sure I've touched on all my notes, that we've covered all the highlights. We took care of the housekeeping. I believe that we did. I'm just making sure. Alrighty. Yeah. Okay, I do think we've gotten all the highlights that I needed to get taken care of. We got the 3 comments, or not comments, the 3 people taken care of, and I am ready to dig into our readings. Are you? Are you? Oh my goodness. I half want to close my windows, but Okay, Sandrine's like, she's next. Kiana's letting me know that her poly is suffering. Oh my goodness, we might have to take a look into that, hun bunch. That kind of situation, like when you're just talking about your poly is suffering, that could be a really useful reading to do in that like couples in conflict kind of situation, so that we can understand like what is it that's going on, what need is not being met, what is not getting taken care of, those kind of things, and ultimately get you cared for, right? So if you are ready to have our reading for you, please just go ahead and throw your question into the comments, and I'm going to pull the next person that shows up, and we're just going to hit the ground running. Now, I mean any question. The only questions that I won't dig into are like your time of death, lottery questions, those kind of things. So if you have a question that you'd like for me to dig in on in a psychic intuitive kind of way, you're going to see me doodle. We're going to dig into it. We're going to unpack it, and we're just going to answer the questions till the cows come home. And we're going to do this until 6:30 my time. So that's about 45 minutes. I think that's good. All right. So Miss Heather, that's a wonderful question. I see your question, Sandra, and thank you so much. And Kiana, I'm right there with you. So let's go ahead and hop in. We're going to do another one. Tell me, actually, before we hop in, Miss Heather, does this overhead view matter? Because I can totally close it and no one's needs to see it, or we can keep it as a visual like interest. So it's totally up to you if you would like to keep it up or kill it, whatever works. So I love to know how these new processes and new things. Hi, Jan. Not sure. You're new and not sure how it works. That's totally fine. If you have a question that we'll be reading on or that you'd like to have read for on words, who needs words? Just go ahead and type your question into the comments. If possible, go ahead and copy that question so that when comes time to pull the next person, you can just copy paste and ta-da, your question's there. So we're going to work on this, Heather, first. What do I need to focus on most in regards to your shadow work? Oh, Michelle, let me know that she likes the visual. Good, 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 good. Okay. And we'll figure out lighting eventually. All right. So what is with Heather? So I'm going to zoom in. What do you need to focus on most in regards to your shadow work? So you're going to see me go a little bit quiet for a quick second. I'm going to start doodling in, and we're just kind of get into state and kind of play in your little energetic waiting pool and see what information wants to show up for us. So what do we need to know about Miss Heather? Or this work regarding her shadow work. And you're going to hear me talk to myself and all that kind of fun stuff. Her shadow work. You know, the first thing that's coming to mind, Hun Bunch, is your consistency with the work in which you're doing. I feel like you stutter a little bit. You stop and start, you stop and start, you stop and start. And so the first thing that's coming to mind is a touch of consistency or routine could be beneficial so that you can make the progress that you'd really like to, instead of just kind of like, okay, there's a band-aid, there's a band-aid, there's a band-aid, if that makes sense. Let's see. What else do we need to know? Your shadow work. What about your shadow work? What do I need to focus on most in regards to my shadow work? There's another aspect that's showing up for you, and that's in relation to, how do you describe that? I feel like you've gotten to a point in your lived experience where you are mature enough to understand the lived experience of the people that raised you. And understanding their lived experience helps you understand more of why they treated you the way they did. So it puts you, instead of a victim mindset or a perspective or position, because that tends to be, especially in the beginning when we're doing shadow work, I was treated poorly, man, that kind of point of view, to like, God, you know what? No wonder this fuckery happened, because that occurred to my mom, that occurred to my dad, that made them attracted to each other, and oh my God, they were treated this way. No wonder I came out like XYZ. So shifting the narrative, the perspective, if that makes sense. Let's see. Expanding your understanding and your awareness of the caretakers, particularly the people whose love mattered most to you. And the reason that I'm saying it so emphatically is because it's not the person that you love the most, right? It's not that. It's the person whose love mattered the most. And for example, I love my mom over everybody else in my life. However, when I was young, my godmother was the person whose love mattered the most. And I became a lot of different things because I was trying to meet her where she was. So that's the narrative that I'm trying to pass on here, trying to give. Let's see what else is in there. What else do we need to focus on regarding your shadow work? What else do we need to focus on? Yeah, it's just circling back to consistency, routine. What else? Understanding your parents, them caretakers and them loves. What else? Yeah, because I would love for you to get, for instance, outside of yourself with your shadow work and more into the people that you're connected with. So starting to look at your ... shadows. Does that make sense? I know it's a subtle thing, but I wanted to make sure that it makes sense. You said, oh, it does make sense. It doesn't help that you're an overthinker. I mean, understood. When it comes to overthinking, I find that if you write your overthinking down, you don't have to circle back to it so much because it's already been, it's down, it's nailed, it's processed, right? And then you get to move on to the other element of your hyper fixating, right? So yeah, write your overthinking down just to get it out of your head. But I'm glad it makes sense. I'm glad it makes sense. All right, sweet souls. Go ahead and throw your question into the comments again, and I will continue to ask it just like that because I'm wanting to read for people who are here, and I don't want to circle back up and grab somebody that's not even in the session anymore. You know, groovy, 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 groovy. Thank you, sweet pea. What do y'all think about me navigating this by myself for the first time? Because I don't remember, or I don't know if you remember last year when we were doing this, my dear sweet pea of a wife was on the control panel handling all of this, and I was just throwing cards everywhere, being all amped and everything. I kind of like being a little in control. It's slowing me down. I feel like that's very, very deliberate. So I like it. All right. So Miss Sandrine, let's get in here. You want to know what's the current and future energy with your individual J. I'm currently in a get to know dynamic. Where is this heading? I want to know what is the current and future energy with this individual. Oh, you've copied and pasted twice. Where is this heading? Where is this heading? Okay. Let's see what we can dig in on you in this J character. Sandrine. What do you want out of this dynamic with this person? Have you thought about that at all? What do you want? And the funny thing that I'm getting, like, first and foremost for you, hun, is like, even if you, for instance, come back and say, you know, I want to date, I want to be connected, I want to be, you know, blah, 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 all these things. The funny thing is, I'm still feeling like, even if that person showed up and said, hey, sweet girl, you over there, I want to sweep you up off your feet and love you until the cows come home, you'd be like, prove it. Like he just did. So you would make him work a little bit extra hard just to get your attention, just to believe. You make him work extra hard to prove that what he says is what he says, even if you do get him snatched up. If that makes sense. Let's see what else is in there. Where is this dynamic going? Yeah, there's I think your friend is telling on you. That's hilarious. Where do you want it to go? You know, the funny thing is, when I'm hopping into your situation, I'm not getting answers on clarity. What I'm getting is more of like opportunity. So it's like, this is an opportunity for you to choose. This is an opportunity for you guys to decide what you're going to do instead of just looking for the stars to have answers and information. When you're still in a power or in a place of power here, you still can make choices, make decisions, decide how this dynamic is going to go so that it's not, it's not preordained. You guys create it, you know? Does that make sense? Let's see. OFC, we have that dynamic. We make each other work hard. And by the way, I have no clue what OFC means. Am I showing my age? Can somebody like translate the OFC? What does that mean? And she's like, shh, don't tell my secrets. Don't tell my secrets. That is so cute. That is so cute, you guys. Let's see what else is in here regarding the two of you. Yeah, because it's not giving me it's not giving me trajectory. It's giving me opportunity. So Sandrine, like the wisdom that I'm getting off of this is not so much looking at the situation from the lens of how long is it going to last or where is it going to go? Because there's this implied stance that if it's not going to last forever, then you're not going to waste your time. And there is purpose in all of it. There's reason for all of it. There's a thing to be gained from every interaction, regardless of its duration. So if they're there to annoy the dog crap out of you, that's deliberate. If they're there to sweep you off your feet, get married, and have 19 kids, that's deliberate. If they're there to be a business partner that is challenging but productive, that's purpose. So I would gently encourage you to relax a little bit on understanding the trajectory and direction and allow it to be what is. and then decide what you guys are going to do, decide what kind of dynamic you want to have, and move forward from that perspective. So move forward from, I can make choices here, instead of, well, if it's not written in the stars, I don't even want to do. Does that make sense? I would tell anybody that, in all reality, because I get a lot of questions about that, with new relationships, particularly, or budding relationships. They're like, is this the one? I'm like, honey, who cares? That's awesome, is what it is. That's the next awesome. And so enjoy it. Don't get wrapped up in these identities and lose sight on the amazingness of the person. If they're here for a year, 15 minutes, 2 decades, or a century, don't miss out on that person just because they're not ... if that makes sense. So yeah, my little mic drop right there. Oh my goodness, hold on. This is very interesting. I love when Sandrine says that. This is very interesting, because I understand that you're a Taurus, and I know you. I know you well enough to be able to, like, I know what you mean. That's awesome. Oh, he is very kind. That's good. So enjoy it, darling. Enjoy it. All right, my goodness. My sweet souls. Go ahead and throw your question into the comments. We're just going to go ahead and take the next one that shows up for us. So, I know that there's a way to clear these pages. Yay. Done. All right. I see your question, Jen. Thank you so much. Kiana, what should I do about PJ and Jazz? Should I leave it alone and let them deal with each other? Or should me and PJ just do business? Ooh, honey. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on. My sweet pea. I love rooting for you. You are such a sweetheart. And every time I touch into your energy, it's just like buckets of hearts and love. Like, all the time. I love it. I'm not saying that anybody else isn't. I'm just saying she's extra. All right, Miss Kiana. What is this? You said PJ and Jazz. Should you leave it alone, let them deal with each other? Okay, let's do that part of the question first. PJ and Jazz. I'm assuming this is the dynamic that you were just talking about with your... First feeling I'm getting with it is very third wheel. Huh. I feel like part of... so until you tell me that this is the poly dynamic, then I'm trying not to make assumptions, but the feeling that I'm getting is that there's this third wheel component to it. So this feeling of like I'm just in the way, or there's not the equal disbursement of time and attention. Like there's just, it's one-sided for some reason. Okay, it is the situation. Got you. Okay. I'm circling around this feeling I'm getting about you not having the whole truth about a thing or something. Like, not that they're deliberately going out of their way to keep something from you. I just feel like they have not determined that you're privy to XYZ communication. So it's like leaving you in the dark a bit. What should you do about... You know, the thing that I'm getting in this is like, I understand that, or I'm feeling like I'm understanding the reason as to why you got into this dynamic to begin with, but it doesn't work like it's supposed to. It doesn't work like it's intended to. And so there's this feeling of like, yeah, I totally do other dynamics, other polys, whatever. But this one in particular, I feel like there's just not enough transparency to make it work, if that makes sense. So what's the deal then? Let alone. Should I leave it alone? So the feeling I'm getting is that you will eventually. By eventually, I mean like, a couple months or months, less than a year is kind of the feel that you'll eventually like just, all right, I'm done, you guys. Go, that kind of feel. With them. And it just keeps feeling like it's too much. These are one of those like readings I would totally love to have you like face to face and us like cashing it out, because it would give me an opportunity to touch on both sides of it. because it still feels like this thing. I feel like, for instance, they have an understanding, and you and this one has an understanding, but you don't have this same understanding. So it's like, it just feels like something is, I don't know. The situation's wonky and I'm not enjoying it. And you're like, yes, Lord. The situation is wonky and I'm not enjoying it. So, hun, I'm not going to tell you what you should do. I am going to give you encouragement on you do exactly what it is that you need to do to take care of yourself. That is always what's important. The feeling I'm getting overall is that it's not exactly in your best interest, but it's also not terrible. The whole reason for that is because you're still learning stuff in this. You're still getting information in this. You're still elevating your consciousness. You're growing exponentially. You're getting so much out of it. But that has its course. It has its duration of time, and then it's time to move on. And I think you're bucking into that a little bit. You're bucking into that is the feel. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that answers your question. Um, you know what? Oh, I lost your question originally. Where'd it go? There you go. Should me and P just do business? Okay, if you guys separate, I wouldn't do business because I feel like that's too messy, too sloppy, and it's too easy to slip back into old routines, and that is not what is needed. If that makes sense. That's like, to me, trying to be friends with your ex is just don't do it. Don't do it, because basically you're still trying to have a relationship. You're still trying to at least give it some time before you decide to come back in. Now, I say that, I hope you're not into some like connection, like you've had kids, you have contracts, you have a lease, you have bought a house, that kind of thing. So I'm hoping that you didn't do that. But if you did, oh dear. I don't know why my nose always itches while I read for you all. Oh my goodness. Yay. It did. Okay, good. Groovy, groovy, groovy. Alrighty, sweet peas. Let's continue to dig in on some questions. If you have a question, please feel free to go ahead and throw it into the comments. And I'm going to grab this one. Hi, Emily. How are you, sweet pea? I hope you're doing well. Your name is new to me, so I don't know if I've read for you before. Should you start selling your paintings on Etsy? Will people buy them? I paint portraits and I hope to do commissions. You're a beginner artist, though. Okay. Got you. Should you start selling your paintings on Etsy? That's a very interesting question. So let's dig in. A lot of people have questions about, hey, should I do the thing? Should you sell your paintings on Etsy? You know what, hon? You know what I would suggest? Etsy is useful for certain situations, certain reasons, but I don't think that's going to be to the highest advantage for you in particular. And give me a second. Let me see if I can share why. Because I think ultimately, like, if you had your own website, that would be a way for you to control the narrative of what is going on with your work, and also it take less fees. And I say this as a person who's on Etsy too, so I'm not trying to be biased. I also think if you, for instance, if you put your stuff up on Etsy and it doesn't get sales right away, I feel like that's going to break your heart and stop you from doing the thing that you like a whole lot or that you really enjoy doing. So, what to do instead? I like the idea of commissions. Have you considered doing something that's like practical and tactile first, and then make the selling of the originals or the selling of the paintings like a fringe benefit? I'm getting like this whole business plan. Okay, so let me give you the ideas that I'm having, and then you can totally like play with it or kill it or whatever. So, Emily, the thought that I'm having is like, for instance, you have a painting. If we turn that into a thing, a sticker, a mug print, put that art on a thing that is consumable on repeat, or maybe something that you could do on a schedule, like a new painting each week or something. If you can build a social audience surrounding that, that is supporting the art, that is giving you feedback on the art, that is giving you real live feedback on what is perceived well, what is liked by the community, what is liked by your society, those kind of things. Like, that's the business note to it. as you continue to build that, doing something like Patreon, where you then sell or share the sketch, like if you do it in layers, the sketch of the art piece or the behind the scenes of the art piece, and you can create a kind of behind the woods community that's supporting you with the selling of the art. You said notify? Notify? I don't know what that means. What's notify? Is that another platform? Let's see what else. Because it feels like just for instance, if you go into Etsy just to sell your paintings, I feel like that's going to fall flat. So we've got to import some layers to it, some elements that make the business a little bit more robust, a little bit more engaged. So that's why, like, pulling other layers, like, I don't know, a product, stickers, vinyls, every other thing under the sun, and social community with it, process. Hell, you could teach people a thing or two. That builds the prospect of income better. If you build a fan base first through your process of creating these paintings and then sell the painting as a fringe benefit. I hope that makes sense. I think well, it does to me, but let me know if that makes sense to you, Emily, because I want to make sure that lands. And if a part didn't land, then I totally want to. Oh, see, that's a very good comment right there. Like, do you have an Instagram or YouTube? See, process images do really, really well. Process recordings do really, really well. A lot of people want to know how you do the thing that you do. So why not show them how you do it so well? If that makes sense. Totally let me know how that lands for you, Sweet Pea, because I want to make sure that's appropriate. Okay. Cool beans. So let's go ahead and take the next question. If you have a question, go ahead and throw it in. And we'll take the next one that shows up. Jen had a question? Where's my Jen? There she is. Yay. Oh, you're going through a lot of turmoil. What's the message behind this? Ooh, what you resist persists. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh literally, but it felt important. I did want to just look at that comment real quick that showed up. I feel like this wonderful plan, it seems more people will be attracted by that. Exactly, my dear. Exactly. So try it out, see if it works, rinse, repeat. If it doesn't work, get rid of it. If it does, double down. That's kind of part of all of it. So, Okay, you're very welcome, Sweet Pea. And we are going to go back to Miss Jen because we're not going to let that go. Going through a lot of turmoil. What is the message behind your turmoil, darling? I feel like there's an element of this you need to get out of your own way. What is that? What is that? What does Jen need to know? That's why you're friends with Sandrine. You're a lot alike in some ways, and you can call each other on your bullshit. You feel like good friends for each other, so I love that. What else? What's the turmoil about? I feel like the turmoil is it's deliberate, it's purposeful, it's intended, not preordained per se, but more of like you have an opportunity to make choices and decisions, and as long as you continue to resist making those decisions, then yes, there's going to be conflict. Yes, there's going to be a breakdown of thing. You're not going to get the smooth ride in which you're looking for. So the feeling that I'm getting ultimately is like if we continue to look for the easy or um the less hard outcome, less hard decision, then we're going to continue to run into a brick wall, if that makes sense. She's your bestie. I love it. What else do I need to know? But you do have a thick skin, hon. You can navigate this and anything else under the sun. So turmoil be damned, it's not going to break you. And Sandrine wouldn't allow for it anyway. Let's see what it is. Let's see. What is the message behind this? What does she need to know? I'm not getting any one thing in particular. It just feels like you have a process of being that is no longer productive for you. And so you're getting the encouragement to do something different. That's like the big thing that it keeps kind of circling around to. All right. Is there anything else? No, it's everything I'm feeling for you is just like it's you have encouragement, you have resources, you have support, you have friends, you have opportunity, you have investment, you have all these things. So you're ultimately you're fine. You just have to make a choice. You have to do the thing. You have to not resist or wait for this whole trying to decide. We have to make a decision. We have to shit or get off the pot. Make sense? Look at her. She's like, yeah. Where'd we go? That's what you think too? A transformation. Absolutely, hun bunch. Absolutely. But you'll make it through because like thinking about 2 years, you'll be able to look back on this situation and be like, that old thing. And you'll be just fine. So yeah, nothing's gonna get you down, hun. Not if you don't let it. All right, hun bunches. So let's see. I know we have a few more minutes to dig in, and then we're gonna read an oracle as a piece to go home by, right? Because if you saw on Facebook, I asked everybody if they had a preference on what oracle card should I pull for the community when we're close to done. And it's a Sacred Rebels oracle by, I believe this is, Elena Fairchild. So we're going to pull a card from this at the end, and I'm going to read the long version of it and kind of give that as a piece to go home with kind of thing. Oh, that's a very good question. I will follow, but where do I find you? Thank you so much for asking that, Sleepy. I have lots of ways in which you can find me. You can find me here on Facebook. You can find me here on YouTube. So I know that this broadcast is in both locations, but you can find my website directly. Here is one way to get there. If you'd like to book a session, it doesn't have to be the readings in particular. It can be through the psychic sessions, which are available not at that location, but at here. Let's pull it down. There we go. Of course, you can find me at the same name. I'm all over social. So you put in my name, either Abigail Vasquez or AV Tarot, anything, you'll find my marketplace. You'll find my YouTube. You will find my Instagram. You will find me on LinkedIn. You will find the website. You will probably find my old Shopify store that's not, that's in the process of being remodeled. Don't ask. it's a process. But yeah, you can find me all over the place. So yes, please please subscribe so that you can still have access. And I also have a quick links page. And that was part of the, what was it? Quick links that did not work a minute ago. So I'm going to see if it works now that we're doing it one link at a time. So let me pull that for us. Because that gives you links to the website. That gives you the links to Etsy. There we go. Let's copy. That gives you links to the newsletter because I'm trying to make sure that I get to share with everybody, hey, what we're doing, when we're doing it, and how we're going about it. Let's do AV Tarot links. Yeah, it works. Okay, good. Because I don't want to give you something that's not working. There we go. It even links to how you can get in touch with me directly. So all of those things. So let's go ahead and pull one more question. If you have a question that you'd love for me to dig in on, please go ahead and throw it into the comments. I'm going to grab the next one that shows up. Yay! Thank you, Jan. I appreciate hearing that. That makes me blush. What is... Okay. Got stuff coming in. Sweet. Let's do... Here we go. Hey, Margot. Question about career. I love this. I just had to say that and then do... Like, I was noticing how my head tilted, so it made me laugh. So, anyway. Question about your career. You're feeling stuck, but afraid to make a change and don't know which direction to go. Aw, hun. Let's see what we can find out for you. Will you go ahead and let me know what it is that you do? Because that can kind of give me language insight as to like what's showing up for you. Let's see. Margot. Oh, yeah, Sandrine, we're talking. Okay, so I will totally come back to Margot, but me and Sandrine had this little conversation. She scheduled a session with me some time ago. And part of the work that I'm going to be doing with her or for her is some past life work. And I'm doing this past life work for her because I want to encourage her courage regarding being a writer, like how to tap on the energy of a past life of being a Greek philosopher to empower her work now. And this is totally off session work that I'm doing on my own time with Sandrine. And I look forward to I haven't done the work yet because I told you it was like as time allows, but I've not forgotten. But I look forward into digging into that because I feel like there's so much available to you if we just kind of like connect the dots, like the courage of that person. If we can pull that in and let you siphon some of that courage, maybe that can help you get out of your own way in your own work and the own things that you want to do. So yes, we're gonna be doing that. We're gonna be doing that. Oh, you're following me on Instagram. Thank you so much, hun. All right, you do office work. Okay, gotcha. Let's see. Let's make sure we get the primary question right. Question correct. You're feeling stuck. All right, Margot. Margot. Ready to make a change. What's this going on with you? Afraid to make a change. Afraid to make a change. Hun, I feel like we're doing that about a few things. So I'm just touching on it and trying to figure out like what's going on here and understand what it is I'm getting. I feel like you're bored. You are bored. But your fitness, like your health is also coming to mind at the same time. So I'm wondering why they're like so connected to me for you. Because it keeps coming in pretty loudly. Hold on. What is this about, like your health, your wellness, your fitness? It feels like fitness specifically. So not just like doctor's appointments and eating well, but like literally exercising, getting your heart rate up, that kind of stuff. What else is in here? What do I need to know? Dude, a funny thing that's showing up for me is if we're able to, for instance, get you a little bit more active, I feel like the effort of the practice of getting active gives you courage and gives you perspective and gives you separation so that you're able to make hard decisions, do difficult things, that kind of thing. Like I would tell you, do you walk? Do you run? Do you go to the gym? Do you do anything? Do you sit in the woods? Like, what do you do? And if you're not doing anything, then how do we get you to do that? Because I feel like that would actually give you some insight so that you can be a little bit more reflective to understand what it is that you want. Because I have this thought about when we say that we're stuck. It is not that we're literally stuck because we're all moving around, right? There's nothing literally sticking you to the floor in your job, in your place, all these things. But there's usually a decision that needs to be made, and we're having a hard time making that decision. We're having that hard time making that first next step. And so if we're having that hard time, then we need a little bit of courage, a little bit of momentum. And if you can figure out how to make momentum in other things that are smaller and less life and death, then you can figure out how to make momentum and change in the big stuff that is a little bit more resource based, life and death kind of thing. So it keeps circling back to your fitness, dude. I would get a jump rope, do something, because you getting a little bit more active. I feel like the more that you take care of yourself, the more you'll be able to see and make decisions more clearly, and it won't be a problem anymore to make the next best decision for yourself. So yeah, this is not a I want to get thin kind of thing. This is a I need to take care of myself kind of thing. So, and that bleeds into your work as well. Let's see what else we need to know about that. Because you've got to find something that you enjoy, because the joy part is also part of it. The not being bored with your life part, so something that brings more fun. And hell, I could give out ideas for days, but ultimately it's all about what you're interested in. Let's see what else we need to know about regarding your work. The thing that I am getting about your job though is that it's a good enough job. It's not a bad location. It's not a bad situation. I just feel like you're bored. Like you've hit a level where you feel like you know everything, and there's not much of a challenge at this point. So knowing that, how can we get you challenged? Yeah, going to your boss is not going to do it. um, what is it that you need courage to do? Are you trying to leave? I think you're trying to leave. What else? Yeah, I feel petty stuff. Like the thing that came to mind was like, when you put your lunch in the fridge and then somebody takes your snack and you're like, you get all irritated and all that kind of stuff. So I was just feeling like petty stuff in there. What else? Let's see. What else do you need to know? Yeah, I feel like everything is coming back to your sense of courage. And I feel like you looking first at your active activity, your self-worth, all of those kind of things. The more active you get, the more empowered you start to feel. The more empowered you start to feel, the more you're capable or feel confident and comfortable in making decisions. The more that you feel like you're worth XYZ thing, the more that you can advocate for yourself and stand up for yourself so that the petty ass bullshit doesn't get to you. Let's see what else. Anything else? Let's make sure I answered the question. You're feeling stuck, but you're afraid to make change and you don't know which direction to go. Yeah. At this point, no one's going to be able to tell you what direction to take because this is your life. This is, your decisions, your process, your stuff that you have to do for yourself. But I do think that you getting a little bit more active will help with the confidence to do the thing, do exactly what you're interested in, or do what it is that you need to do. So, if at all possible, I would focus on that first before looking at the job stuff. Does that make sense? I hope so. I hope so, sweet peas. Let's take one more question. Oh, Jan, that's a great question. You asked what kind of reading should you start with? And it really depends on what your needs are. So, for instance, if you just want an experience with me, like one-on-one, face-to-face, then in the psychic sessions section, pick a 30 or a 60-minute reading. That's pretty easy. It gives me the opportunity to get to know you, us to dig in on anything that's important to you and unpack anything under the sun. Sometimes there's mediumship involved. Sometimes there's maybe just some predictive work if necessary. It's a big like us getting to know each other. You're very welcome, Margot. If my schedule is not working for you and you're very interested in the relationship reads, then you can totally take advantage of one of those. And then I get that link. It's a private YouTube link video that I make for you. I get that reading to you within 5 business days. And at the end of that timeline, you're also going to schedule a free 30-minute Zoom call with me where we just chat about the reading that we just had. I unpack it a little bit more for you if needed. And if you want, you can include a psychic session in there too. So it really just depends as to what your needs are. But if you have any specific questions or process, like where is the button, let me know and I'll make sure to get you help out with. All right. So let's see. Yay. Let's see. So we're just taking another question. Just taking another question, then we're going to go to the Oracle. Let's see. Okay. Gotten a couple in. So let's see. Jan. Yay. Jan is in great transition and need grounding and guidance. Ooh. I'm glad you're very clear about what your needs are. Not very many people are. I'm very much not always very clear. So that's why I'm like, go you. Go you. So you need grounding and guidance. Let's see. Jan. What does she need to know? You said you're in great transition, grounding and guidance. The interesting thing here is that I'm getting like you said, great transition, and it feels like a lot. And so with that, what are you feeling like you need guidance with? Because a lot of this just feels like it needs the time that it takes to go through it. It's like when you're going through a breakup, it just needs the time. If you're going through a divorce, it needs the time. If you're having a baby, it needs the time. And it's not so much that anybody can direct you through it. It just the experience has to occur. Falling out of an airplane, the experience has to occur. You ended a 7-year relationship. Okay, that is a big bit. It is a big deal. So let's see. Gotcha. Where are you going moving forward from here? I think you made the best decision for yourself, and I hope that you recognize it as that. Outside of all of the aches of it, the pains of it, the complications of it, the old habits of it, all that stuff. Guidance. Yeah, I keep wanting to just reiterate you did the best thing, you did the best thing, you did the best thing. This was what was, you did good. You did whatever it was, you did good. So um I may not from from this perspective, I may not understand exactly what the ordeal, the outcome, the situation was, but I feel like you did a good thing. So I'm glad you did what you needed to do to take care of yourself. What else? I feel like you advocated for yourself in a way that you needed to. What else? What else? What else? What else? It's going right back to time. Like it just needs the time that it takes. Your heart needs the time that it takes. When you're overwhelmed and up to your neck in decisions and processes and emotions and feelings, the encouragement I'm getting for you is just make the next best decision, make the next best choice, do the next thing. Because when we start thinking too big, it gets overwhelming and it starts to swallow us whole. So let's not allow ourselves to go far that way, but just do the next thing, even if it's going to bed. Just do the next thing. Let's see. Older and unsure where to start again. The thing here with that is you don't have to have all the answers right now. And it's okay. It's probably in your best interest not to have all the answers right now, because when we're putting all this momentum and we're not in the space for it, we're just going to light that shit on fire. So you taking time to feel your emotions, to feel the loss, to go through the grief, to, get yourself into a better place, state, all these things, that's the next best thing for you, not necessarily rushing into the next thing, because that's not going to be productive. Because have you ever tried to eat a cake before it's ready to be eaten? You ever try to put frosting on it when it's still hot? Like it just don't work. No matter what you do, it just does not work. What else do we need to know, Jam? Oh, you said you're gonna schedule a session. I'd love to. I'd love to meet you. I'd love to meet you. Let's see. What else do we need to know? And sorry, I'm getting quiet because I'm trying to figure out how to relay a little bit that's showing up regarding, like, either it's your ancestry or just notes about your grandmother. So I don't know if your grandmother is still here or not here, but the topic of her is coming up. So just to share, because of course we can't do a whole ton of validating while we're here, but while we're here, the feeling is just that, yeah, she's just gonna be proud and love and confident and confident. And she's if I'm talking to quote unquote your grandmother, the feeling that she's giving me is the this too shall pass kind of routine. So does that make sense? Let's see. All makes sense. I know. I know it, but just loss. Okay, understood. I think that's one. So you're bringing something up for me that I feel like a lot of us need to understand is when we're feeling lost. The best thing to do is nothing. And the reason that I say that is because so often we want to not then feel lost. We want to fix the pain. We want to put whatever it is that's going on for us in the backseat and let it go away. And the point is like, but you're in the middle of this. You're in the middle of your grief. You're in the middle of what is going on for you right now. And the more that you allow yourself to go through this, the more that you will be able to get over it. So you have to go through it. You have to experience it. You can't get unlost right now because in all reality, you're not actually lost. It feels like it, and no one's taking that away from you. So please feel free to feel lost. I am a big advocate in feeling exactly the way you feel. Your reality, though, you're sitting exactly where you're at. Your feet are close to the ground. You can put them on the ground. You're not flying off the planet yet. I know you feel lost, but you're exactly where you need to be right now. And sometimes just saying that or knowing that might be exactly the next thing that you need to do. Just understanding I'm exactly where I need to be right now. And let it be it. Don't even let the expectation of more come in yet. You can make those decisions when and if they happen. But as of right now, I get that you're feeling lost. I understand. I know firsthand what that feels like. It fucking sucks. Try to remember that here in a bit. And I mean, like, a couple days, couple weeks, couple months, even years down the line, you'll be able to reflect on this and know how far you've come. So you will not actually be lost. You're just kind of seeing the tree through the forest through the trees. Does that make sense? Whichever one that is. Whichever one that is. Oh, thank you too, sweet pea. I appreciate that. So what we're going to do to kind of give us a card to wrap up on, I'm going to pull a card out of our Sacred Rebels Oracle. And this is going to be a card to send us all home with, because I think a little hugs and love is really, really useful, especially from all these badass women that are in our lives, or badass souls that are in our lives. So I'll shuffle, I'll pull a card, and then I'll read it from the XYZ thing. Let's see how well I read on camera, all right? All right. Let's see. Here we go. That's the card that we are going to use. Aww. Sorry, I know you can't see. It is somewhere here. There you go. Power of Attraction. I love that. I love that for us. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull this down low so that we can see it up close. Dun, da, da, da. Hey, I almost got it. All right. What number is that? That is 13. Power of Attraction. Somebody sent me a text message. I don't know who that was. Okay. Power of... Ooh, this even has healing stuff in it. Okay. Power of Attraction. There we are. There is much wonder awaiting you. All of you, okay? there is much wonder awaiting you. There are so many beautiful adventures and so much magic yet to be. Can you keep your heart open to what is coming towards you without surrendering your experience of this moment by becoming too future oriented? What did we just say? What did we just say? You see, there is magic in this moment too. I'm going to repeat that. There is magic. Hold on. There is magic in this moment too. There is something arising within you out of the depths of your being. In this process, there is a shift in the environment, both internal and external. A fertility is being stimulated. This is your time to play with that fertility, to conceive, create, and embark upon the process of transformation with an open heart and mind. You may not know where it all is going to lead. All you need to know, or all you need to know is that it will be wonderful and exactly perfectly what is needed. Beyond that, allow the energy of fertile growth and abundance that now flows so naturally and richly within you and around you simply to be. You are a big soul. All of us. You are a big soul. And with that often comes big dreams. You might worry that you want too much out of life. Perhaps you think that you're only capable of small dreams. If you have drawn the oracle of a big, bold vision as well, then this part of this message is highlighted for you. This oracle is guiding you to remember that there are stages of creation. A house cannot be built without the flooring. No matter how beautiful the stained glass window you plan to install are, the walls need to be up first. I love this. Your big life dreams are a work in progress, just like you. If you have been working on healing something within you, started a new creative project, or just taken on a new job or relationship and feel as though you're getting some results, you are impatient for more. Doubt that you can continue or ever be in the zone or be proficient in the situation at hand, then this oracle comes as reinforcement. You are doing well. I'm going to mic drop that. You are doing well. All of us, all of us. You are doing well. That which is worthwhile takes time to build. Celebrate each success, even the small ones. You are creating something of worth. Be patient, keep going, and trust. This oracle comes with a special message. You have recently completed a cycle or level of manifestation and are transitioning into the next level of experience. Like a big fish leaving a small pond and feeling like a rather small fish in an even bigger pond, there will be some getting used to some getting used to it, time needed to find your way. This will add to what you've already done and bring valuable expansion to your realization of your abilities, as well as many new relationships and opportunities to help you go further on your journey. What you're in the process of creating will benefit you from this stage in your process. Whether your creation is simply your sacred life path, a particular creative work, or an actual child, there is a positive and constructive energy that is unfolding for you now. To boast this process, carry you further along the way. Oh, I messed that one all up. Do you dare to dream and believe in your dream until it manifests, even if naysayers challenge you? Of course you do. Sacred rebel. This oracle brings you guidance. You're going to attract whatever is needed to complete your work and progress to fruition and bring progress to fruition. Remain open and receive and trust the unfolding of your life experiences. Don't turn away. All the necessary elements are coming together. All this integration to occur so that you can manifest your dreams. So the healing process of this, right? It's hitting for you too. Yeah, I believe it. It's a little bit on the nose. It's a little bit on the nose. So the healing process here. Close your eyes, relax. Imagine that you're in a wild desert landscape in nature in the middle of summer. The sun is hot overhead, and you can sense the aridity, lack of moisture in the air. The green cactus sprouting with spikes and the strong heat rising from the earth in shimmering waves. How does this feel to you? Then you're in a red, golden forest with trees looking as though they're set on fire with vibrant colored leaves that fall to the ground, creating lush heaps of crunchy colored debris. The air is becoming cool and crisp. How do you feel? The moon rises overhead and you are in a winter landscape. Mountains of snow have fallen, and light, delicate snowflakes settle onto the heap as the dark night sky becomes clear and filled with endless stars. The dazzling aurora borealis begins to shimmer. Vivid green lights and swirls of shimmer, hauntingly beautiful and dancing throughout the night sky. This sharp, cold night air is invigorating with light. How does this feel to you? Then you're in the lush green landscape sprouting with new roots, and with warm sun caressing the earth. Lambs and rabbits frolic sweetly and playfully. Daisies and daffodils create a vibrant yellow blanket over the green grasses, and there is a sweet scent in the mild air. How does this feel to you? Now say aloud, I trust in the cycles of my life, my work, and my own spiritual growth. Through unconditional love, I thrive. When you are ready, just open your eyes and you have completed your healing process. Yay! Thank you all so much for coming to hang out with me today. It was a blast. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, that's okay. Love me anyway. I love you bunches. You guys take care. What we're going to be doing is, I almost forgot, we are doing another session come June 17th. So you will see notifications, you will see emails, you will see posts all about that. And I hope to see you all again there. If you'd like to visit with me for something one-on-one, you'll be able to find it here and visit all the links that are necessary to either contact, visit the store. Oh my gosh, you guys, I almost forgot to give you something. I have two things for you, actually. I'm going to close one of these things off. There we go. Let's remove. I have a special little promo code that I'm giving to you all because you're still here with me. That will give you an additional 15 minutes on any session that you book with me. And I will basically add it into our session once you've supplied it to the reading. So give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna share that with you so that you have it. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I almost forgot. Yes, let me scroll down. There we go. I made it just for you all. And if for some reason you're not able to apply it, that's fine. We will just modify. There we go. We will modify your appointment. So either way, we're going to get you taken care of. And it's going to be live for a specific period of time. So we got 30 days to take advantage of that. And that's the promo code for that. And you can use it directly within the website when you book the session. Now, if, for instance, you're a little bit more on the tarot focus side and you want to get something out of the AV Tarot Marketplace, I have a special promo code just for you guys, which is 20% off anything in that store. So please feel free to stock up on a few of your favorites, try out some new cards, play with a few things. There we go. And you can use this promo code AV Tarot Live to get 20% off your entire order on that site. And it's also good for 30 days. So you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I had a blast. I did remove it. Okay. I had a blast. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate that, Jan. I hope to see you again here soon. If you have any questions, I'd love to chat with me a little bit further. I'll hang out in the comments for a little while, but you guys take care. Bye.